Kentucky Peerless Distilling Company. I love Kentucky Peerless Distilling Company, and they have been voted Kentucky's best bourbon. We're going to talk a little bit about that. With us now is Master Distiller Caleb Kilburn. Caleb, welcome back to the show.
Thanks for having me. It's always a fun day when I get to visit the studio.
And John Wadle, who is a single barrel curator. We'll talk about the definition of that, but I'm going to go to the Master Distiller first. All right, Caleb, the history of Peerless is so rich, and it's a little bit complex, but we're talking 5 generations, is that right?
Oh, absolutely. Dating all the way back to 1889. I mean, it's so meaningful to be able to be part of this rebirth of this business. From 1889 until 1917 in Henderson, Kentucky, the Taylor family owned and operated the Peerless Distilling Company. That being said, Prohibition and the First World War shut them down, but it stayed within their family, dormant all these years, until we actually rebuilt and restarted the business here in Louisville back in 2015. Now, with that being said, every single drop of Kentucky Peerless is made in-house, so it took us a few years to get to where we were releasing product. So in 2017, we released a rye whiskey that landed on the top 20 list at number 15, according to the Whiskey Advocate, for its opening year as a 2-year-old spirit. Fast forward another 2 years, at that point we released our bourbon. It becomes Kentucky's best bourbon according to the same magazine, to Whiskey Magazine, period. At that point we were named the top craft distiller in the world, and it's just been a wild ride since, and we've been extremely blessed to have so many people come out and support us and have the city embrace us. It's a good time to be in the bourbon industry.
Yeah, when American Whiskey Magazine votes you as Kentucky's best bourbon, what an honor. And you guys have come a long way. And I would say very quickly, but as you said, that rich history goes way back. We're talking 5 generations now. Wait a minute, I think it's Corky is the 4th generation, right? And their son Carson is the 5th generation.
Absolutely.
Let's talk a little bit about your relationship with Corky Taylor, if you would, Caleb, and I'm going to ask you too, John. This is a unique guy. This is a guy who has a lot of passion for bourbon. Of course, he was raised around it. Tell us a little bit about that history.
Well, when it comes to Corky, the first thing is none of us work for Corky. I mean, it's not something we do. Every single person at Kentucky Peerless works with him, and it's not the Taylor family, it's the Peerless family. So every day we all sit around, we eat lunch together. Granted, it's a little bit more socially distant these days, but it's amazing to have someone who's as passionate, who is level-headed, he wants to work with you. He wants to better everyone who's working with him and around the facility. It's just, he's a family man, and we're one of the members of that family.
Yep. John Wadle, you feel the same way, is that correct?
Oh, absolutely. He's a great guy. There's not many out there like him. He treats everyone like a family member. Caleb was talking about cooking lunch. My mom cooks lunch down there for us every day. So he's just an amazing guy.
I'm going to put you to work, John. John is not only a single barrel curator, he is also a mixologist, which the bourbon folks take very, very seriously. So, John, what are you going to mix? First of all, what is a single barrel curator? Exactly what do you do?
Well, I basically get to drink for a living. Half of my job is just basically going in, helping Caleb and our team find those unique barrels that we want to sell to bourbon groups, liquor stores, restaurants, bars. But we're looking for barrels that are very unique in flavor profile and aroma, so something that's a little bit unusual that you may not find in your everyday rickhouse.
All right, you're going to make us a bourbon sidecar.
Yes, so the first cocktail I'm actually going to do today is going to be a bourbon sidecar. We're going to be using our Peerless small batch bourbon that we have here. Now, everything we do is barrel strength, and we use a strictly sweet mash, so we don't add any water, and we use fresh grains, fresh yeast every time here too as well. Now, the cocktail I chose, the reason I chose this one, it's simple, it's easy, and it's one of my favorite cocktails. Now, the original actual cocktail is made with brandy, but along the years, cocktails change, and so today we're going to be using bourbon.
All right.
So we're going to start off with our coupe glass. We got our cocktail shaker here. I'm going to start by adding a scoop of ice into it.
Caleb, while he's mixing up that drink, tell me a little bit about what an honor it was to win, Kentucky's best bourbon by American Whiskey Magazine. I mean, how do you celebrate something like that? That's quite an achievement.
Well, it's pretty obvious with either a nice cocktail or a nice glass of Kentucky Peerless.
Okay, touche.
But as far as actually being there in that room, I mean, it's so unreal. You're standing there, you're surrounded by your colleagues, people who have decades of experience on me, and myself and Carson were there, and to hear them open that envelope and announce Kentucky Peerless as best Kentucky bourbon, it's just, it's unreal. It's a thing dreams are made of.
I know bourbon connoisseurs that love Peerless. Now, for folks who are interested in maybe taking a tour of the facility, how do they go about that, if you would, Caleb?
Well, right now we are actually offering tours 3 a day as part of the CDC guidelines, doing our part to prevent COVID and continue to shrink that curve. We are offering tours at 10:30, 12:30, and 2:30, and we are actually doing those online bookings. So visit us at KentuckyPeerless.com, and we'll be able to get you hooked up. Now, we're also doing tastings at 11:45, 1:45, and 3:45. And the tour also includes the tasting, but the tasting, you're just going to go in, you're going to get to try 4 of our single barrels that myself and John have put together and we've offered, and they're in our gift shop.
What is in that bourbon sidecar, John? What's all in that? I saw you mixing it, but I want to make sure.
The bourbon sidecar is pretty simple. It's 2 ounces of our Peerless bourbon. You have 1 ounce of an orange curacao, ½ ounce of freshly squeezed lemon juice, and then just a splash of simple syrup in your cocktail shaker. You're going to shake that up about 15 to 20 seconds so it gets good and cold on the outside of it.
All right.
Just pop the top right there.
And I'm going to see, ooh, that. Just the sound alone makes me thirsty. I can't wait to see it. Now, we've got a minute left. How fast can you make the second drink a Ward 8? We're going to find out if you're a true mixologist. You think you can knock it out in a minute?
Pretty fast, absolutely.
There we go. That is a beautiful bourbon sidecar. This is called a Ward, W-A-R-D 8. What's in that?
Now, this is going to be made with a rye whiskey. It's going to be 2 ounces of rye we have here. Then you're going to do 3/4 of an ounce of lemon juice.
I love all of this creativity with bourbon now.
3/4 ounce of orange juice.
Sounds refreshing. Sounds like a summer drink.
Then a splash of grenadine.
That says John commercial break all over it.
Yeah. Shake that one up. As I'm shaking that up, we'll get our piece of ice that we have here. Shout out to Kentucky Straight Ice. I get all my ice from them. They're a great company to use for cocktails. I can get that in there. Then you just strain.
A true mixologist. He made it in under a minute.
A man of his word.
A man of his word. That's right. And you're going to find that from everyone at Peerless, I promise you. There we go. Kentucky Peerless Distilling Company. That is beautiful. Thank you so much. Caleb, the best to Corky and all of the families involved at Peerless. Continued success to both of you. And yeah, I'm going to have a sip of a cocktail here during the commercial break. Coming up, we're going to talk about Jefferson County Public Schools opening up August 25th. And also, you have to plan if you want